Innovative.
Fun.
Crazy.
Immersive.
Parisien.
Transportive.
We totally wanted to immerse our guests in the world of Ratatouille.
Just like the beloved movie, the whole Place de Remy area is a love letter to the capital city of France. As soon as guests step into the themed area, they are brought on a journey through the magical streets of Paris. Place de Remy gives many nods to the City of Love, as it features buildings that look like those that can be seen in the iconic Grand Boulevards district, as well as traditional street furniture, such as lampposts and benches.
Walt Disney Imagineering is the design arm of the Walt Disney Company, responsible for building theme parks, cruise ships, resort hotels, and immersive experiences for Disney parks and resorts.
How would we bring the world of Ratatouille to life inside Disneyland Paris? And we said, we want to be the size of a rat. It's always fun to be small and be in a giant world. So we wanted to be with Remy on his adventure as we go through Gusteau's kitchen and his dining room and find ourselves in Remy's Paris.
Nothing's impossible. We're creating reality of dreams of people, and so nothing's impossible. It's a challenge, but you have to work hard at that challenge to make it reality. And in the eyes of our visitors, it becomes an absolutely amazing experience because we've made something which is generally impossible actually real and possible.
So to create the ambience for our new project, we of course started with the film Ratatouille. It's a very sophisticated visual environment, and it's also a very sophisticated audio environment. So that was our base point, and we put everything together in a different way because we changed the perspective. We want our public to be as small as Remy, and so that was something that we exaggerated in creating our new environment.
I think we have I'd say about 6-7 different countries that are involved in the fabrication of this attraction. They stem from France, Europe, the United Kingdom, Romania, Spain, Italy, the United States of America. It's a combination of a lot of different companies who have specialities, which we bring together from the different countries that they work in.
As Imagineers, we're always looking at things that are created by our partners at Pixar and feature animation and the studios for a fit, for something that might become a land, an attraction, a restaurant, anything really. And when we saw Ratatouille, a light bulb went off and we said, wow, this would be a perfect thing to bring to Disneyland Paris, of course. And once we studied the movie further, we said, well, there's some things that we really feel like we want to do. One is the sequence in the movie where Remy falls into Gusteau's kitchen and has a crazy time. That's so much fun. What if we were to bring that to life for our guests? What if our guests could become the size of Remy and feel what it's like to be a rat in this enormous kitchen? And beyond that, wouldn't it be fun if Remy could cook a meal for us and we could actually eat in his restaurant? So those were the two starting points for what now has become what we call Place de Remy, which is a mini land that will be new and unique to Walt Disney Studios in Paris.
One of the biggest difficulties we had was the doors that we built. We have these 5 meter by 5 meter doors that weigh 1.2 tons and open in 2.3 seconds. That was quite a challenge, but they are working extremely well.
The world of Paris in the movie Ratatouille is a caricature of the real Paris. It is a romantic vision of what Paris is, and we wanted to figure out how to boil that essence out and bring it to life in the Disney park. For us at Pixar, only existed behind the glass of the computer screen, a virtual world. But here in the park, we brought it to life as a real physical place that the guests will walk into, be surrounded by, and then enter as the size of a rat into this gigantic, amazing world.
One of the things that's not obvious to our public is that this show is a very highly technical show. It is like an iceberg. What the public sees is the top of the iceberg, and what we do is the bottom of the iceberg. It's invisible, it's there to support the story, it shouldn't be seen, and if we achieve that in an invisible way, then we have a great show.
Well, what's really fun about Bistro chez Remy is that the story of our attraction is that Remy is preparing a meal for us. And so we thought, well, what would be better than actually creating a real restaurant where you could eat the meal that Remy's prepared for you? It probably is the first time we've ever had an attraction like this where the storyline of the attraction leads to a dining experience at the end, and it all ties together. So that's, I think, is what's so cool about it. Remy's cooking for you, and if you choose to, you can actually go to his restaurant where everything is overscaled. The tables, the chairs, the menus. It's just a big fantasy space with a great meal. What often starts at Imagineering as a very simple idea turns out to be a very complex project. And in the case of Ratatouille, we've been working on it for almost 5 years.
We have never built an attraction like this before, where you shrink down to the size and you feel that you are truly in this giant, wonderful world, alive in a way that we've never been able to do before.
I think for our guests, anytime you do what we call a scale change attraction, where we shrink you down and the world around you changes scale from what it normally is, it's fun. It's just fun and you want to do it. And in Ratatouille, the notion was we're going to shrink you down to Remy's size and see the world as he saw it, see the kitchen, see the pantry, see Gusteau's restaurant, see the rooftops of Paris from a perspective and scale that you would never be able to do in real life. And that, I think, will be one of the major attractions of this mini land and of the new show and restaurant that we're creating. You're stepping into a world that is completely giant size. Really cool.
One of the other pieces of the puzzle that I kind of look after is what we call show programming. Show programming is when we basically take the ride elements and the show elements and put them together and have basically a computer programmer who is sitting there and who ties the show together so that the lights come on at the right time, the video projection starts at the right time, the audio goes at the right time. And that is an important piece for us because it really does create the story and knits the story together properly for our visitors. One of the key challenges I have in my work is, especially with regards to this attraction, is bringing together all of the various technologies. We have a lot of video projection, which is very specialized. We have heat effects, we have wind effects, we have cork popping effects, and it's bringing together those inventions and tying them all together as one. Everything is invisible to our visitors. So they experience the attraction as it should be, which is a show, which is an experience, but they see nothing of what happens behind the scenes.
So we have used all our senses to create the story. We use heat, we use odor, we use view, of course. And so we have certain scenes in our storytelling where we are surrounded by all of these physical and visual effects.
Oh, so many hungry faces! Well, you've come to the right place. Everyone knows the best food in the world is made here in Paris. And tonight, the toast of the town, Chef Remy, will prepare for you a culinary masterpiece. Anyone can cook, but no one cooks like Chef Remy.
This attraction is very new for us. For one thing, we're introducing a new ride system that virtually is trackless, where the vehicles that you ride in can go forward, can go backward, can spin, can tilt, can shake. Very, very new for us. And in addition, we're combining 3D media and physical set pieces in a way that we've never done before. So putting those all together, it's a brand new, very breakthrough kind of show experience for us, and will totally be for our guests. Obviously, the real Paris exists very close by to Disneyland Paris, so there's no need to build Paris exactly as it looks there. What we sought to do was bring to life the Paris of Ratatouille, We worked very closely with our colleagues at Pixar who had spent a great deal of time for the movie determining how to create a romanticized, stylized view of Paris. We worked closely with the tools that they created and then adapted them with our tools to say, how do you build that stylized world in 3 dimensions that our guests can actually step through, dine in, ride through, which took a lot of adaptation. But in the end, our goal is to create the Paris of Ratatouille.
Hey, thanks for coming, everyone. Vous serez toujours les bienvenus chez Remy. À bientôt et bon appétit. Mino.
In the Ratatouille film, there's a very brief scene at the end where we get to see Remy's restaurant. And we were very inspired by that and said, you know, wouldn't it be fun if we could create that restaurant for our guests? And it's a very simple thing to ask, but in reality, it took an enormous amount of time and work from our team to bring it to life. Because in Remy's restaurant, he takes human objects that in their world would be gigantic enough to become tables, chairs, etc. So a ramekin becomes the base of a tabletop, and a jelly jar becomes the tabletop that you can sit at, and a giant fork becomes where you hang your jackets. I mean, it was incredibly fun for our team to create this overscaled restaurant for our guests to dine in. And I think it will be one of the highlights of this new mini-land, that you not only get to take a great adventure with Remy, but at the end of the adventure, you can actually dine in his restaurant in this fantasy world. We always say in Imagineering that, you know, we have long shots, medium shots, and close-ups, just like film. And the long shot of our Paris will look very much like Paris that you would find nearby. But as you get closer, you're going to discover a lot of fun things that relate to Ratatouille and the characters in the movie. So, for example, there's a beautiful fountain that you see as you're coming down toward the attraction. That from a distance looks very much like the fountain that you would find in Paris at Place de la Concorde. But when you get closer, you realize that the figurines in the fountain are actually rats holding champagne bottles, and all the little details around the sculpted details around the fountain are based on characters and fun moments from Ratatouille. So the deeper you get into our Paris, the more it becomes apparent that it's Ratatouille Paris. And part of the fun for our guests, I think, will be finding all of those hidden Ratatouille moments in the architecture, in the benches, in the sculptures, in the fountain, in the architecture. I think our guests really love that, and I think they'll be delighted by how many of those our design team were able to insert into the placemaking.
Bonjour, mesdames et messieurs. It is wonderful to be here on this beautiful day in Paris, in this beautiful theme park, Disneyland Paris, and I am extremely excited to show you what we have just built. It is now my pleasure to officially dedicate the Ratatouille adventure. Congratulations.
July 10th, 2014, that's the official opening date for Ratatouille. We were very excited. After all these years of hard working, all the cast members here are very excited to greet all the guests and see their reactions. So I hope to see you soon here on Place de Remy and to have a crazy adventure on the ride, then a delicious meal at the bistro chez Remy, of course. See you soon at Disneyland Paris. Hello. Hello. Hey. Hello. Hello. Hey. Hello.
This Ratatouille was popular throughout the world, but nowhere more so than here in France. And this attraction really clearly celebrates the film, but it also, just as the film did, celebrates France, the culture, the architecture, but of course also the food. So it's a tribute to Ratatouille, but a tribute to France at the same time.